Hi, we're not on the range today. We're at one of our training facilities, so who knows what kind of noise you might have to put up with in the background. And today, once again, we're talking about .38 Special ammunition. Now, these days when someone's carrying a .38 Special, it's commonly for concealed carry, and it's also very common it's some kind of snub-nose revolver. And what's probably the most common type of ammunition is .38 Special plus P 125 grain jacketed or semi-jacketed hollow point. But some people have asked about the use of semi-wadcutter projectiles. Well, any discussion on that has to start with, what does a semi-wadcutter look like? Let me show you a close-up. On your left is a jacketed hollow point, and on your right is a semi-wadcutter. It has a sharp shoulder and a flat nose. Because of its sharp shoulders and flat nose, the semi-wadcutter can do more damage to the intended target than projectiles like round-nose lead or round-nose full metal jacket. And because the semi-wadcutter is not velocity dependent like a hollow point, it can give pretty good performance in traditionally lower velocity calibers like .38 Special or .44 Special. So with that in mind, there's always somebody that comes up with the idea, well, what if we had a .38 Special plus P 158 grain semi-wadcutter hollow point? Then how would we do? Well, it just so happens some viewers sent me some ammunition in that category, so let's put it to the test and see how we do. I've got the chronograph set up at 7 yards, and the ammunition I'm going to start with is Georgia Arms .38 Special plus P 158 grain lead semi-wadcutter hollow point. And the handgun I'm using is a Smith & Wesson Model 637 with a 1 7/8 inch barrel. $802. $795. $793. $784. $748. Now let's see how that compares to another kind of ammo. Now we'll try our Buffalo Bore .38 Special plus P 158 grain semi-wadcutter hollow point. $934. $975. $944. $981. $1,004. Now let's go crunch the numbers. Well, I crunched the numbers and here's the results. With the Georgia Arms ammunition, we got a mean velocity of 784, which if I did my math right is 215 energy foot-pounds. Now the Buffalo Bore gave us a mean velocity of 967, that's 83 feet per second more, with an energy foot-pounds of 328. Now just as a basis of comparison off camera, I chronographed some Sig Sauer Elite Performance .38 Special plus P 125 grain jacketed hollow point, and we got a mean velocity of 827. And our energy foot-pounds is 189. Even though this is a lighter projectile than the Buffalo Bore, it still has a velocity of 140 feet per second less. So what this tells us is a couple of things. One, in .38 Special ammunition, the 125 grain bullet is obviously a lot less than the 158, therefore usually has significantly more velocity. But we see that sometimes the greater velocity isn't all that significant, and sometimes it's less. This also tells us that Buffalo Bore ammunition is indeed loaded pretty hot. But when you get to the bottom line, these are just numbers on a page. How does this translate into performance on the target? Let's see if we can put that to the test. Now, for those who haven't seen it, this is the meat target, which is leather jacket skin, followed by pork chop pectorals, pork ribs, a bag of oranges to simulate lung tissue, more pork ribs on the back, 4 layers of t-shirt on the front, 4 layers on the back. The whole thing followed by the high-tech fleece bullet stop, and I'll shoot from 7 yards with our Smith & Wesson Model 637, loaded with the Georgia Arms .38 Special plus P 158 grain semi-wadcutter hollow point. And let's see what happens. Well, we disassembled the meat target, and there's holes in our pork chop pectoral. holes in our ribs, and where bullets hit ribs broke them. We don't see a lot of damage, but we do see pretty good penetration. One of those projectiles was stopped by the t-shirt on the back of the target, and 2 went through to about the 20th layer of fleece. Now let me show you a close-up of what these projectiles look like. And you can see of our 3 projectiles, only 1 has the slightest expansion. Now we've got a new meat target set up, and I'll shoot from 7 yards with our Buffalo Bore 38 Special Plus P 158 grain semi-Wadcutter hollow point. Now with the Buffalo Bore ammunition, we see bigger holes in our pork chop pectoral, very big holes in our ribs, quite a bit of damage to our orange lung tissue. All 3 projectiles achieved 100% penetration, and they were all stopped by about the 10th layer of fleece. And so we're seeing quite a bit more damage. Now let me show you a close-up of what these projectiles look like. And with the Buffalo Bore ammunition, we see a great deal of expansion. I'm not going to shoot the meat target with 125 grain hollow points. I've done that on many previous occasions. There's no need to rehash that today. But I can tell you that 38 Special Plus P 125 grain semi-jacketed hollow points typically provide good expansion, do good damage to the meat target, and they are usually stopped by the t-shirt on the back of the target or by the 1st or 2nd layer of fleece. As where our Buffalo Bore 158 grain hollow points had good expansion, did a lot of damage, but went through to about the 10th layer. So that extra amount of penetration might be a plus if you think you're going to be shooting a particularly rotund meat target. However, that extra performance comes at a price, and that price is recoil. Now I've got my revolver loaded with 38 Special Plus P 125 grain hollow points. Watch how much recoil there is. That's easily manageable. Let's try that again with our Buffalo Bore 158 grain semi-Wadcutter hollow points. That's a lot more recoil, enough to be prohibitive for some shooters, and that's something to take into consideration when you're purchasing ammunition. So, as always, don't try this at home. I'm what you call a professional, and thanks for watching the 38 Special Plus P 158 grain semi-Wadcutter hollow point video.